So hi everyone, it's David Lomman here, and we're recording for the self-hypnosis workshop, which is starting on the 19th of October 2021. I have with me David, Inga and Esther, and we are working to basically learn self-hypnosis so that it can be used for any changes that need to happen in life, but also any empowerment that can happen as well. So thank you all for being here. I'm just going to put up a small PowerPoint, and it doesn't go for very long. It just takes up the first part of this workshop. And the reason is that it just gives you a bit of background to what hypnosis, self-hypnosis is all about and the benefits that you can actually get from it. The other thing is, I wonder if you do have a notepad with you, notebook, notepad, pen, just so you can write down something as we go along. Okay. So we'll just do a share screen thingy. And I'm just going to put that down. So self-hypnosis, it is a powerful gateway to change. So I've just got to move this back out of the way. Little bar gets in the way of everything sometimes. Can everybody see that?
Yes, thank
you. Okay. So this is me, you know me. You've all, as it turns out, you've worked with me. So that's all fine. Self-hypnosis. It teaches you to relax your body. So that's the first session. The first week is to help you relax your body. If that becomes a little difficult, practice during the week so it becomes easier and easier for you to do that. And to do that, I will be sending out this video, but I will also be sending out a steps to self-relaxation sheet that you can just practice with. Self-hypnosis also teaches you to relax your mind, and that will be the second session, to focus more on the mind and what the mind is about and how to relax that mind. It teaches you to use your imagination to help you get what you want. And that's the power of visualization, is to see that things that you want can be right there for you. And the more that you can have them there for you, the better it will be for you. And it teaches you how to put it all together. So that's the 4 weekly sessions. Teach you to relax your body, relax your mind, use your imagination to help you get what you want, and how to put it all together so that you are more comfortable with working that way. So the first thing is, what do you want to change? So if you have something physically to do with your body that you want to change, when do you want to change it by? If you have something mentally you want to change, something to do with your brain, by when do you want that by? If you have something emotionally to do with your heart, for instance, because the heart is the center of our emotional self, by when do you want that change? And spiritually, to do with your path, the path that you're walking, when do you want that change? So if you have a pen and paper handy, I wonder if you could write down 3 things that you would love to change about you, whether it's to do with your body, to do with your brain, to do with you emotionally, or to do with you spiritually. What 3 things come to you that you would like to change? Because the purpose I see with self-hypnosis is to help you get what you want. Right? And then because what happens when we set an intention, which what this is about, is to say, I have an intention to do this. It's more likely to carry through with the practice that you do. It's more likely to help you achieve the goal that you want to achieve. If the intention is wishy-washy, then the chances are you won't dig into it to the depth that you otherwise could. So the more that you know what you want, so that we're moving forward in that direction, the better things work. So for you, Esther, do you have those three things?
Mm-hmm. I think you'll know them. I want to be fit again. I used to be super duper fit. And I've set out personally before this a goal before Christmas.
Right.
So that's basically setting time aside from a busy lifestyle, work-wise. Stress less about my son. We've had a very long journey since he was 20 weeks old, and it's just gotten very stressful again. So it's learning how to manage that emotion and angst so that I can be a better parent. And as a consequence, I want to be a better partner because we've been through a lot in the last couple of years. So I want to lead by example within my partnership with my partner. So that's a short-term goal because, we've had a serious amount of stress in the last couple of years. So it's all relative to the last couple of years. So definitely the fit again by Xmas or Christmas or whatever you call it. And then probably the immediate future one is probably the better partner and to stress less for my son.
Fantastic. Thanks, Esther. Inga, for you?
For me, it's physically getting movement, better movement. And then I wrote down communicating better, speaking, communicating better. And the last one is open my heart more. But I didn't get a date for anything.
Okay. That may be things that you work out as you go along. That you say, because the thing that stops us from putting a date on something is the fear that we won't make it, rather than the belief that we will.
Yeah, I've done that in the past, putting dates on it, like you said, and then nothing really happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So part of it is to be able to become focused on achieving what it is you want by putting in the work that is going to get you there. But more importantly, by recognizing that the way that you are looking to get there may not be the best way for you, so that you're tuning in more to yourself all the time as to what is the way forward for me here? How am I going to make that happen for me? And then working with that more and more. So thank you, Inga. And David, for you.
Thank you, David. I have to change this chronic physical pressure pain and movement to a state of homeostasis. Secondly, to serve humanity to the best of my and spiritual ability, working as one. And be more love, to emulate the source.
Great.
So 7 days for the pain, 30 days for the perfect channeling.
Okay. Fantastic. We shall progress. I'm just going to, if I can find this little thing and put this back down out of there. Okay, so physically, your body is under your control. Now, this is being proved more and more by science, but it's been known by people who work with the body for years and years that if there is a tension in the body, if there is an issue with the body, if there is something going on with the body, there has to be a reason for it, because the body is a self-healing mechanism. And if something isn't right for the body, it will always be to do with something we don't know or something we do know but we've ignored. So mentally, to do with the brain, well, the brain depends on the body because the brain is part of that body. So if there's lots of thoughts going round and round, if there's lots of things happening in the brain and the brain is constantly active, then calming that brain down enables you to think more clearly, but also physically working with the body to make sure that the gut function is okay, to make sure that everything is working well with the body, will impact the brain because the neurotransmitters are basically made in the gut. 80 to 90% of the neurotransmitters which run your brain, which your brain relies on for energy and relies on for moods, come from the gut. If you have an upset gut, you will likely end up with an upset brain. Emotionally, about the heart is there as the center of our emotional self, and the heart is there as a physical organ within the body. It is more to do with the emotional side of things, that the heart wants us to be emotionally balanced. And in the meantime, though, it will hold those emotions, or it will hold in the body those emotions that we haven't dealt with, and they can interfere with the physical body as well as the brain. So there's a lot of things where anything that we hold on to emotion, any hurt, pain, shame, blame, anything at all that we hold on to emotionally is going to have some effect on our heart. And that effect has to do with the way in which we can reach out. It has to do with the way in which we can be present to ourselves and to others. Spiritually, it's the path that we walk on. What is the path I'm on, and is it the right path for me? And if it's the right path for me, what do I have to do to continue on that path? So the more that through self-hypnosis you understand that all of these things can be brought together by your will and your belief in yourself, the freer you become in your life. Does that all make sense?
Yes.
Perfectly.
Okay. So now, where do our doubts, lack of self-worth and fears come from? Well, they can come from our personality. And our personality is developed, or we've chosen it, because I believe in free will. And free will tells me I'm choosing my personality, because if I didn't choose it, who did? Because that means I don't have free will anymore. I believe I have free will, and therefore I chose my personality. And if you choose a personality which is geared towards the choleric, the personality of the choleric is want to have control. They want to be the boss. They want to be telling others what to do. And the more that we gear towards choleric, the more we will see things in our own way rather than see things collectively in a joint way for everyone. With a melancholic, and by the way, the choleric goes into depression generally because they don't have control. They're in a situation where they don't have control. The melancholic, they like order and routine. They like things to be perfect. They want things to be perfect. And if things in their environment aren't perfect and they're not getting space and getting to breathe and go out in nature and do those things, and they don't have order and routine in their life, then chances are they can become very depressed. Depression is very, very easy for a melancholic because life itself is not perfect, and it never has been and it never will. So it doesn't take a lot to tip a melancholic over the edge in depression, because they are working on a false premise, and the false premise is that anything is perfect. Nothing is. And the sanguine, well, the sanguine just wants to have fun. And to the degree that the sanguine doesn't have fun, they can start to blame others. They can start to snipe at others. They can start to pick on others because they're not having fun. They blame somebody else for them not having fun. In the positive sense of the sanguine is there having lots of fun. They're the center of attention. They're playing sport and excelling at it. They're doing all good things because the sanguine relies on their results, and their biggest result that they can have is to be able to have fun. And the phlegmatic, well, the phlegmatic just wants to be accepted. They just want to have acceptance, and they want to have respect. So because they're more laid back, they're often not respected, so they can go into some some level of depression as well. So all 4 personalities ideally are strengths rather than weaknesses, and that the ideal person has a balance of each personality, so they can be someone who's leading as the boss, they can be someone who has order as the melancholic does, they can be someone who has fun, and they can be someone who has acceptance. And ideally, as we develop the process of being able to have all of these things in our life, then our life becomes more balanced within us. So, what can self-hypnosis do? First week, first session, relax your body. The goal is to practice a few times to relax your body to a very deep, relaxed state where you're in control. And then through the week to practice that degree of relaxation. If there's anything that comes up where you're not in control, where you feel out of control, the goal is to see, okay, what else can I do here that is going to help me relax my body? So the focus is for this week is to become deeply relaxed and know that you are in control. And in a relaxed state, those intrusive thoughts which might come in, or anything else which might come in, allows you to pinpoint it more deeply and know what to do to release it once you've got the skill to be able to do so. The second week is about calming your mind so you can relax without any intrusive thoughts, just attaining a balanced state for yourself, a much more balanced state. Because once your mind is calm, and I'm looking at mind as the overall mind that you have available to you, not just the brain, but the mind itself, where thoughts can come, information can come in, where you are keeping the energy coming to your mind as a supportive energy, as a calm, relaxed, supportive energy, because that all helps you attain a balanced state. And then to create positive change, that's to help you deal with issues that are physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, so you can have more fun. And how that comes about is that the more you learn to relax your body and your mind, and the more you learn to use visualization for your own purposes, then it's easier to create positive change in your life. And the more that you can do that, the more fun you can have, the more enjoyment you can have, and the closer you can actually be to the spiritual path that is there for you. And then acceptance. And acceptance means that as you go through all things, any negative feelings you have towards yourself, any negatives you have about who you are or what you are or why you're not good enough or anything else, is all just brought into balance and brings deep inner peace. So those are the goals of the self-hypnosis workshop. As you go through, the most important thing is to keep in mind there is nothing wrong with you. There are just issues you haven't dealt with yet. And this workshop is a skill-based workshop to help you deal with issues that might come up as we go along, so that you come away and think, yes, I've got a new skill now. I've got a new ability now that I can bring into my life. And through bringing it into my life, I can also influence others around me in a positive way. And that's what the benefit is of just calming the inner self and creating self-respect is. To bring that sense of deep inner peace and to create an environment around ourselves where we feel easy within ourselves. Is that all making sense so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just one thing, David. I've
Sure.
endeavoured to do that many times with stilling the mind
Yes.
to overcome this chronic pain, which is now sitting at sort of 8.5. And it seems to be a struggle to get beyond that physical pain and movement to reach that state of further relaxation.
Yeah.
So I'll stick with it, but it's just a matter of, getting to that tipping point.
Yeah, and that's why we're going to focus so much on the physical to start with, because to have a physically relaxed body makes a huge difference.
Sure. And you're suggesting, did I hear you right, that thoughts come in that relaxed state to give you guidance?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Thank you.
more you can tune in with yourself, the more guidance you receive.
Perfect.
So the one who wants control, their greatest fear is not having control. And that's the burden of the choleric. So the person who wants to be in control, they usually carry, when they're out of control, is they carry a fear of not having control. So they try harder to have control, and that can become frantic. So the melancholic, through the need to have things perfect, can sometimes be carrying false pride, and false pride sort of says, oh, I can't tell anybody else what's happening with me. I can't show anybody else what's happening with me. So therefore, they're afraid to share things. They're afraid that they're not perfect. And that is one of the things where they look at their life and they see they're not perfect, and that can drive them into a depression. The depression with a choleric is when they don't have control. So with the sanguine is all about self-will. I will have fun. I will do what it takes to have fun. I will be the life and soul of the party. I will be, and I just want to have fun. And any challenges that they have will seem not like fun to them, so they won't want to be involved. So the most important thing for the sanguine is to learn that doing this work will bring them more fun. So, and that's where they are not working on their self-will, but they are open to receiving information. And the phlegmatic wants respect, but because the phlegmatic's way of dealing with the unknown often is to shut down, then they don't feel they have respect because they're not putting themselves out into the community to gain that respect. So each of the personalities has its own issues and its own way of handling things, and you will see this in the people around you. The goal is not to judge. The goal is just to be present to where other people are, so that you can be present to your own self without worrying about anybody else, without worrying about what's happening around, but just being present to you and asking, how can I accept this? How can I deal with this? How can I accept this without the fear, without false pride, without self-will, without being afraid of the unknown? And the more you can get to that place where you can accept it, the freer you become to relax. And the more you can relax, generally, the better you will feel. So, brainwaves. When we're in a beta brainwave state, our brain is going hammer and tong. We're thinking all the time. We're worrying. We're thinking about what's wrong, what's not right, what's happening here, what's going on. And because of that, we're under enormous pressure because the brain has the potential to use a lot of our energy. And the more that we're not in a relaxed state with the brain, the more uncomfortable it becomes in the body because the brain basically takes over and takes the energy from the body. So a lot of chronic fatigue happens because people are thinking too much. They're saying, why is this happening to me? Why is this going on? Why? And it doesn't do anything to sort out the problem because they're looking for the problem, not the solution. So in an alpha brainwave state, the brain is much calmer. We bring the brain waves down somewhere between 8 and 12 cycles per second. But we want it even lower for a deeply relaxed state. We want it to be right down, even lower than that. And the more that you can do that by yourself, the freer you become to understand that relaxation is in your power. It's not in anybody else's power. And the more you can relax by calming the mind, by allowing the mind to become calmer and calmer, the freer you become of the outside worry world. As one of the people I used to follow used to call it the TikTok world, where everything is about going faster. In this state, it's all about going slower so you can do more because you are more calm when you're doing it, and therefore you feel more relaxed and you feel more capable of doing what you need to be doing. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
So where does all this stuff come from? This negative thinking stuff, where does it come from? Well, it comes from our childhood. A lot of it comes from our childhood. We won't go into past lives right now, but that's another session. But a lot of it comes from our childhood. It comes from the way we are treated by our parents. But more importantly, it comes from the decisions we make because of the way we are treated. So if I was hit as a child, then I can think two things. Why did you hit me? I'm really angry about that. Or, oh my God, I must have done something wrong and I understand why you hit me and I'm really sorry, which is the other part of becoming less than who we are by putting ourselves down. So, and this is where ego comes into play, and the child has ego. If you ever watched a young child, they already have their personality set. They already have their ego methodology set. So we did the same as children. We set things up the way that we believed would work for us, the best way we could set them up with the information we had as a child. So then what happens is we carry that into our teenage years. And in our teenage years, we look at things based on how our childhood was and what we learned in our childhood. And then we set up our relationships based on the relationships we saw in our own family relationship and based on the relationship we think we want coming from our childhood and our teenage years. And often what we find out afterwards is that wasn't what I wanted because it doesn't fulfill me the way that I need fulfilling, because nobody's really knowing what I want for myself. And sometimes I don't even know what I want. So how can I tell anybody what I want? And that's one of the biggest problems that most relationships face, is if somebody can't talk and say what they want, how can they expect their partner to know what they want? But they knew what they wanted back here in childhood and in their teenage years. And often the thought that they have is, well, why doesn't my partner know? They love me. Why don't they know what I want? And then the other area where negative thinking comes in is in work-life balance. So if somebody is working too hard, they're working too long, or they've had a bad boss, they've had somebody who's criticized them, or they've gone through, even back in childhood, they've gone back through the church, and the church has, has some opinions about them, or their family does, or their teacher does, then they can carry that into their work-life balance. And if they meet the same people in their work, then what they learned in childhood about themselves is just going to be added to. It's all going to be piled on top of everything else. So the importance is that self-hypnosis allows you to re-examine things from the point of view that you are an adult now. You don't have to worry about what happened so much in your childhood if you can just get on in your life as an adult and do what you believe is best for you using the best information you have at hand, and you are continually upskilling your information so you can deal with things differently. Because if I continue to deal with things as a child, then I'm going to get the same results I got as a child. If I deal with things as I did as a teenager, then I'm going to have the same results I had as a teenager. And if I bring them into my relationship and I don't learn anything, then my relationship is going to be based on how I was as a teenager, meeting my partner as they were as a teenager with all our doubts, fears, insecurities, and everything else, which means that we're never going to be able to advance to the level that we could in an adult relationship with two fully committed adults. And then in our work, if we carry forward all of that into our work, we've got the issues from teenage years, got the issues from childhood, got the issues from our relationship. And sometimes work is the only place where we can feel integrous and we can feel like we're doing a great job. But sometimes work can be the bane of our life, because work only adds to the problems, because we've taken our problems to work with us. Does that all make sense? So the goal is with self-hypnosis to help clear those areas and say, well, how would I like my relationship to look? How would I like it to be? How would I like my work to look? How would I like it to be? Find the blocks and release the blocks. Now, a lot of that you can do with self-hypnosis. And the way to do it is to understand we have 3 egos. And our egos are with us from the day we're born, basically, but they develop also over our lifetime. So if we are in our observational ego, and basically anybody who's coming to this workshop is in their observational ego to an extent. What is happening is we're looking at things from a viewpoint that's interesting. I would like to know more. I would like to change what's happening with me. I would like to understand more about what I can do to develop myself. That's observational ego. If we're in little ego, we're coming in saying, well, there's parts of me that don't feel I'm not good enough. There's parts of me which looks at all the mistakes I've made and said, oh, well, you can't be good enough, right? And those parts can be buried very deep within, but they will show up at the most inopportune times. They'll show up when you try to talk to somebody. They'll show up when you're trying to get something done. They'll show up when you're developing something, and they can stop a project in its tracks, because deep down inside there is this feeling of not being good enough, and there's the inner critic and the inner judge that go along with that, and they can both be, it can all be pounding away and destroying the way forward for you. And then there's the big ego, and the big ego says, I'm better than them. I know what I'm doing. I'm better than them. I've got it all figured out. You know, nobody else knows as much as I do about this subject or about this thing or whatever it might be, or I'm the greatest, without involving the observational ego. We're saying, well, actually, you know, there was that time where you didn't have all those answers. Do you think you need a new skill to work on that? So, because big ego, when it gets bigger and bigger, and this happens with a lot with film stars, it happens with people on TV and radio, they get this big, big ego, and then something happens that brings them right back down to earth, and they go back to the underlying cause of the big ego, which is to overcome this feeling of not being good enough by saying, I am good enough and I am better. And the goal is to get to the observational ego. And a lot of the times this comes out with alcoholism or drug use or any need for something else to make someone feel better. And they're not coming at it from the point of view that's interesting. They're coming at it from the point of view of I'm just going to use this to medicate myself because I feel better when I have this thing, this drug, this alcohol, this it doesn't matter what this need to please, even this working really harder than anybody else because I've got to be better than them, right? So we see it a lot with people who burn out because what's happening is they are trying so hard to be better when they only had to upskill in a way that they could see there were different ways to do things and they could move forward using those different ways from observational ego. And that's the point we want to get to with self-hypnosis, is to work with observational ego so that anything which is coming up can be seen as interesting, can be seen as non-threatening because you have time to work it out. So that's what we're looking for with this. Is everyone okay with that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
No questions, nothing else that doesn't work for you?
No, we've spoken about this in our sessions.
Yeah.
Yep.
The observational ego, David, allows the higher mind to enter. Am I correct?
It
therefore
does.
allowing the guidance and the inspiration to well surpass both the other ego.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
The big ego, the observational ego is there in alignment with the higher self. And the higher self is in alignment with the divine. So the goal of the lower self is to incorporate the little ego and the big ego, because that keeps things stuck. So we have this conflict within us between the higher self and the lower self. And when things aren't working for us, often it's because we have this little tug of war going on inside of us as to what we are going to be doing. And if we're coming out of little ego or we're coming out of big ego, the decisions we make, they may be okay, but they may not be okay either. Whereas when we come to observational ego, we're seeing things much more clearly and we have much better guidance within ourselves as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the fundamentals of self-hypnosis: know your goals. So to build on the power of self-hypnosis, know your goals. Be specific. That's why I got you to write them down. Learn the skills. You've all worked with me. You each have certain skills. We're just going to increase those skills. You have to know that you actually want to. Do you want to do this? And if you want to do this, you just say, yes, I want to do this. I want to make some changes. Yes. And then the goal is to maintain your practice. So each week between sessions, practice relaxing, practice relaxing your body, practice going into a self-hypnotic state by yourself, so that the next time you're working with me, it's much, much easier for you to go into that state. Mm. Now, to do that, you learn we go back to the skills. We learn the fundamental skills: setting your goals, deciding that you want to do this, and deciding that you will make the time to do it. Organizing yourself so that you do have the time to do it, and finding a quiet place that suits. Now, some people might lie on a bed. Just be careful you're not going to fall asleep. So prop yourself up well with pillows. Sitting in a chair, just feeling comfortable in the place that you're in. You can put some relaxing music on, just don't have it too loud. Just notice for yourself, is that intrusive? If it's intrusive, just turn it down. And practice until it becomes natural. Nothing in life that we really value has much value until we achieve a certain skill level in it. You know, we can start at the beginner level, but then we like to go to the medium level. Then we like to go to the intermediate level. Then we like to go to the higher level. That's why they do self-defense classes with black belts. You know, you start on a belt, you gradually increase your belt level as you increase your skills. And that shows the amount of dedication that you had to something. So the more you dedicate yourself to practicing self-hypnosis, the better the results can be there for you. So, everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Now, I think I've shown this to all of you. The victim always asks why. The rescuer says, what can I do to help you? The persecutor says, why did you do that? So whenever you hear those words that somebody is saying to you, the goal is that you, as the creator of your life, see those things as challenges. And instead of reacting to it as the victim would react to it, oh, poor me, somebody's persecuting me, the creator finds a way to diffuse the situation by seeing it as a challenge. And the challenge is, oh, it's interesting you should say that. I'm just wondering, how come you think that of me? Or how come you feel that about what I'm doing? So that the creator either holds their peace, but doesn't get offended by it. They just say, well, that's just them. Or they actually challenge it because they feel confident in challenging what's going on. And when we have the skills, we hire a coach. It might be me or somebody else, but the goal is to get in touch with the inner coach. And that's what self-hypnosis allows us to do. It allows us to connect with the inner coach, the higher self inner coach within us, the guidance that is there for us. That is the purpose of having a coach in your life. And as you create more and more opportunities for yourself and for your family and for the people around you, challenges will come. There's a Buddhist saying, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. The creator acknowledges pain, the victim suffers. So the goal is always to lift out of here, to not negate the rescuer, but to say, what's the best thing I can do here to become the creator of my life? And see these persecutions that I've seen before as challenges now that are helping me learn new skills, helping me develop myself more. And the more I can develop myself, the more I can coach myself. I'll need a certain coach in certain areas. I went to school, I learned from a teacher, that was a coach. I might have gone to Sunday school, that was a coach. I might have gone to church, that's the minister is the coach. All these different things that we're learning is learning how to attract the best coaches that we can to help us develop ourselves as the creator of our life. And the more we can do that, the freer we become of persecution and rescuing and being a victim, because it's very easy to come across a rescuer. A rescuer is someone that basically collapses themselves in order to rescue you. And unfortunately, when they do that, it doesn't serve you either. So then you can become the persecutor, because this goes round and round. And if you don't want to be stuck on that triangle, the importance is to go back up here and become the creator. Any questions or reflections on that?
No.
All good?
That's wonderful.
Okay. So the importance of the right food is to make sure that you have the energy to do the work, to make sure that you have something to eat that allows you to have the energy through the day. You know, if you're eating Kellogg's cornflakes or something like that in the morning, what's going to happen is your energy will go up, then it will start to go down. If you don't eat something substantial at morning tea and then at lunch, it will continue down and you'll hit a drop where all the emotions go haywire. And then you might have something sweet that picks you up and you get to here, and then after dinner you just want to drink. So here might be coffee, here might be coffee, here might be coffee, because they're all stimulants. And then when we get to here and we have the drink, or here and we have the drink even before dinner, that's a depressant that lowers our mood, calms us down. That's why people drink, to remain more calm. Unfortunately, they might go too far, but this is the most common pattern that I see in clinic, is people have got this energy that comes up, drops down, comes up, drops down, comes up, drops down. It's the yo-yo syndrome. And it all depends on the food you are eating and the stress you are under. So the importance is to understand that stress, understand the importance of the right food for your body, and to move along on that chain so that you are constantly taking care of yourself so you don't have the dips. And the reason for that is because when you have the dips, these are the symptoms of poor diet. Joint pain, muscle pain, nervousness, irritability, exhaustion, weakness, faintness, all of these things are known to be caused by low blood sugar or irregular blood sugar. Now, if the sugar's too high, if the carbohydrates are too high, then often people will just ignore these symptoms, and because they just feel pumped up on sugar within themselves. So when you see people who are obviously ill, obviously in a state of ill health, if you like, but they say, oh no, I feel great, then chances are their blood sugar is out of balance. When you truly know how to feel in your body and you feel these things being there, it's so much easier to recognize that it's important to eat the right food at the right time, to have the right energy. And when you do, pretty well everything on the list goes away. When you do that right thing for long enough, everything on the list goes away, providing that you are dealing with not only the physical side of things, but the emotional side of things. So, because all of these things are created in the physical body, but they are created for a reason. So our goal is to help let go of any of those you might have, so that they're not part of who you are. And that's just us, what we're doing. And so thank you for sitting through this. I will just get rid of that and go back to us. Hello, Esther, you drop out there for a minute.
Looks like Inga's turned off.
I'm still here. I just turned off the camera because of the
Yeah.
hotspot.
Yeah, you're fine. So is all of that understandable?
Yes, very much.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to have your cameras on unless you want to. It's fine.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
I'm at home, I will turn it on, but it's just because of the data.
So the most important thing is to know your intentions. That's why I got you to write down those 3 things that you want to work on. And the more that you know those things, that you keep them front of mind, you're noticing, yeah, I feel calmer. I feel more relaxed. I feel more open. I feel more at peace. And the goal, because it's very easy to notice what's wrong, it's not quite so easy to notice what's right. And the more that you can acknowledge what is right and is working, the freer your body becomes, because it's being acknowledged. Your body is actually being acknowledged. So we're just going to go into, yeah, I noticed that, Inga. Sorry, Esther. That was a bit of a challenge for you. But yeah, so if you want to leave your camera off, you can, and I'll just keep an eye and make sure you're still here. So, okay. So the importance is that...
I might switch off too, David, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I know I'll start to physically move. You'll probably see me, but it may be distracting.
Okay. So the importance is that from... Esther's still having a bit of trouble. So there's 2 Esthers. Which one have we got?
I'm going to turn off my phone.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
This is what happens on technology, Esther.
Yes, that is very true.
So can you see us, David? You can't see the video.
No,
Okay.
but I can
Right.
see. I've got a list of who's in the room.
I'll tell you what, I might turn it on just for your observation. If you're happy with that.
Yeah. I probably would turn it off, David.
Okay.
Right. I'll still see that you're there.
Yep.
But I'll probably just turn it off. We'll just wait for Esther to turn her phone off.
It won't turn off for me.
We're good to go. Well, I can kick you out if you like.
Yeah, kick me out.
You out. I'll just...
Maybe kick both of me out and I'll come back in.
No, I'll just remove this one. Remove.
If you remove the other one. Yep. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yep. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Okay. So I'll just close that down. All right. So the first stage is just to do a bit of relaxation, just gentle relaxation, just to get you in the mood for something deeper. And the more that you can go into that, the better. Because what happens with that is that it just sets things up for later on. And there's a reason why this is a 4-week workshop, because we're going to do things systematically. We're going to start just like doing kindergarten, primary school, high school, and then university. So you can't do one before you do the other unless you are extremely, extremely bright. So the first step is to find a place where you can relax. Find a couch or find a chair or find a bed. But if you're on the bed, make sure you prop yourself up so that you don't fall asleep. The other thing is to understand that with this, as we practice, I'll be getting feedback from you. And the reason for the feedback is just to make sure that each stage of this is working for you. And the more you can work with it, the freer you become to do it by yourself. Everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you like, you can put yourself in a mudra position with your feet on the floor and your forefinger and thumb together. And you can just command yourself that every time you sit in that way, you will deeply relax yourself. Because a lot about this work is self-command. A lot of it is about taking action so that your body knows you're in charge. Now, there can be blocks in there that interfere with that process. And the goal is to gradually relieve those blocks when they are there. Okay. So when you're ready to, just allow your eyes to close. And just take in a breath. And just gently let it go. Just letting those eyes close over like deep, heavy curtains, just closing down. As you just take in a breath and then just letting it go. And then when you're ready to, just taking another breath and letting that go too. As you just breathe more freely and breathe more easily now. More and more freely and more easily now. That's right. Just breathing more freely and breathing more easily now. Invite you now just to say that word. Relax. Just saying to yourself, I relax now. I just relax now. Then I wonder if you can just remember a time when your body was very relaxed. Or even what it would be like for your body to relax right now. Just to relax right now. And shortly, in a little while, as you count down with me from 5 to 1, I wonder if you could just allow your body to become more and more calm and more relaxed now. More and more calm and more relaxed now. And on 5 now, more and more calm and more relaxed now. Just allowing a calming energy like the gentle waves of the ocean rolling into the shore to begin to flow into your body now. Just imagine those gentle waves of relaxing and calming energy flowing into both of your feet at the same time. Flowing into those toes and up through those feet and moving up those legs now, flowing all through those calves and into those knees. As you just become more and more relaxed now. And on 4 now, that calming energy just continues to move up through those thighs and into the trunk of that body now. Just allowing all the muscles and ligaments of the legs to become completely relaxed now. And on 3, moving into the trunk of that body now as that body becomes more and more calm and more relaxed now. And on 2, moving all through that trunk into the shoulders and down through those arms and into those fingers, those hands becoming more and more relaxed now. And on 1, that calming, relaxing energy flowing all through that neck, relaxing all the muscles of the neck and into that head and into the muscles around that jaw and around the mouth and the eyes and all through the crown of that head, relaxing all those muscles now as you just allow yourself to continue to breathe more freely and breathe more easily as you relax now. And I wonder if you can allow yourself that all sounds, either inside or outside the space you're in, aren't important right now. Whatever you hear just allows you to become more and more calm and more relaxed now. Knowing that at the first sign of danger, you will become instantly awake and alert and ready to deal with whatever is there. At the same time, more and more relaxed, more and more calm, and more at peace within you. As you just breathe more freely and breathe more easily. More calm and more relaxed now. More and more relaxed, more and more calm, and more at peace within you. Just knowing now that each time you practice relaxing, it gets easier and easier for you to relax. And each time you relax, you go even deeper and deeper into that beautiful state of relaxation where your body is just so relaxed and calm and at peace. Just allowing yourself to stay in that state for as long as you want to. And each time you go to that state of relaxation, just going deeper and deeper than you've done before, becoming more calm and more relaxed now. And shortly, in a little while, when you're ready to awaken, you just count yourself back with me. You count yourself back to full waking consciousness by counting up from 1 to 5, quickly and easily coming back to full waking consciousness. Alert, awake, and very relaxed. On 1 now, just allowing the circulation now to return through the hands and through the feet now. 2, moving up the arms and up the legs and into the trunk of the body now. 3, just take a deeper breath now as blood pressure, circulation, heartbeat and pulse all return to that is normal and healthy for you now. 4, circulation returning all the way through you now, coming back all the way through you now. And 5, eyes opening in your own time, in your own way, just coming right back now, right back now. All the way back now, all the way back now, back to full waking consciousness now. Okay. So I'm just going to start with the ladies. Esther, for you?
I went to deep relaxation pretty much straight away.
Great. Inga, for you?
Yes, it was very nice, and I always feel from my nose. Normally I have blocked nose, but if I go into deep relaxation, it always frees up. So it's always a good sign, and I really enjoy it. Thank you.
That's good. And David, for you?
Yes, David, thank you. It's always the last number of years when I wake from sleep, the pain has dramatically increased. And so the same continues. I do this sort of work. I'm still not sure whether it's throttled up automatic nervous system and adrenals or whether it's something else. But the pain increased and still has increased, and so has the movement.
Okay. So where do you feel the pain at the moment?
It's always constantly in the head. Moving pressure pain like 200-300 psi in the skull and rolls around like a live snake.
Yep. All right. So now we're just going to do a very short relaxation. And it is more about the physical, it's still about the physical body, but it's just a short relaxation. David, just do the best you can do.
Yep.
Right. This is something that's been there for some time. So this is something that is there. And we are working with whatever we can to help relieve it. So, ladies, if you would just go back to a relaxed state or a relaxing sort of position. And the importance of this particular session is that it puts you in the role of the creator. There may be some challenges. You all have challenges, but this puts you in the role of the creator because you are setting the pace for what you do. And the creator always sets the pace. So when you're ready to, again, just close your eyes. Allow yourself to get in that place of safety where you feel safe to relax. And we're just going to do a very short relaxation, just so that we can see what comes from that relaxation. So when you're ready to, just taking in a breath and letting it go. And then just taking in another breath and just releasing it and letting it go. As you just breathe more freely and breathe more easily. More and more freely and more easily now. Just breathing more freely, breathing more easily now. When you're ready to, I wonder if you could just silently within yourself, just thank that body for being your body. And thank that body for everything it does for you. Just thank that body for that. Just thanking that body for everything it does for you. Thank it for all the places it's taken you and all the pleasures it's given you. Just thank that body for that. All the while, just breathing more freely and breathing more easily. Breathing more freely and breathing more easily. And I wonder if you could just thank those feet for being your feet. And just thank those legs for being your legs, and those thighs for being your thighs, and that base of your spine and your pelvis for being your spine, your pelvis, that back for being your back, that chest, that abdomen for being your chest, your abdomen, that head for being your head. And just share with that body that you are learning new skills now. You are learning new skills now of how to better connect with that body. You are learning that now. You are learning new skills now. Allowing yourself to be more and more connected with that body. You are learning that now. New skills now. As you just breathe more freely and breathe more easily. More and more freely and more easily. Then, when you're ready to, just bring yourself back, just taking in a deeper breath and bringing yourself back to the room you're in. Just noticing whatever it is you notice about that body. As you just return to the room you're in, just breathing more freely and breathing more easily. Just coming right back now, right back now. And Inga, for you, how was that for you?
Yeah, for me, it was good to go back into the beginner's mind, and it really helps to stay focused. Thank you.
Great. And Esther, for you?
My body was calm, but by the end of it, my mind was going up and down. I was just like, shut up. So yeah, I know I have to work on that part, is quieten the mind down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's always things to do. There's always things to be. There's always places to go.
Yeah.
There's always, oh, what am I doing this for? I could be doing something else. There's all of that.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't what I could be doing else. It's more like, I don't know, my brain.
Yeah.
It was a bit hypo.
Well, the other thing is, if it was the inner critic that came up, right, that's important to know. So if there's any self-criticism coming up of, do you think this is going to work? Do you think, whatever it might be, it's important to recognize that inner critic or the inner judge. So if you're okay to share it, just share it with me. What came up that took you to the mind during a relaxation for the body?
Oh, what happened just then? It's probably because I've tried to do it a number of times over the year, last couple of years of getting healthy again, getting back on the healthy bandwagon of fitness, good eating, just taking time out for myself. And I just seem to go in a loop.
Okay.
And I start it and then it stops again. I start, stop. So it's probably that going through my brain cell at the moment.
Okay. So were you thinking about your what you were trying to achieve, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
So fundamentally, if I can get this in place, then I think the flow-on effect of me feeling calm within myself, feeling better about myself, will have a equal ripple effect from the rest of parts of my life.
Yes. Now, just as a matter of interest, is it okay with you, David, and you, Inga, if I just do a little bit of work on Esther, which you can relate to?
Sorry, guys.
That's no problem at all.
Esther, just go back to that state where your body is relaxed and you're just talking to your body and thanking your body. And as you do that, just share with me what's happening in your thinking.
It's not like a negative. It's just a non-belief that it will change.
Okay. Thank that voice, wherever that voice is coming from, for its suggestion and its opinion. Just thank it for that. And just let that know that that is why you are learning new skills, so you can achieve what it is you want. And when you say that, when you express that, what comes back to you?
It's grumpy.
Okay.
Because it's been on a cycle for a while.
Yeah.
So the self-belief in it is not there quite yet.
Yeah. So thank that energy for letting you know that it's not so sure about that, or it's grumpy about that. Thank it for that. And let it know that only time will tell. You're learning new skills so that you can develop yourself to achieve the things that you want. And you're committed to learning those skills. So thank it for its opinion. And let it know you're just going on to learn those new skills. And then notice how that is.
It's quieter now, but
Okay.
it's still reserved. But it's one of those things once we work through it.
Yeah. Well, remember that each voice within us has an opinion. Voice within us, and each action within each energy within us has an opinion, and it has a way it likes to do things. And not all voices and all things within us are in coordination. Often they're out of step with what we want to do, because they've been doing the same thing for years and years and years. And David, for you, did that lessen anything or aggravate anything?
Yeah, it always seems to aggravate it physically, David, but the good news is that I sat independently as observer and allowed it to be that resistance.
Okay. How was that for you?
Putting me more in control,
Okay.
more of the creator rather than the victim.
Good. Good.
I think that's the ultimate direction, is it not?
It is.
Mm.
It is. Yeah, you can still have the pain, you can still have the ache, you can still have those things, and you can still be the creator of your life.
Yes, I've heard that things have to rise, to perhaps more suffering and pain before they're overcome.
I wouldn't hang on to that.
Okay.
I would say that you have to learn new skills before they can be overcome.
Okay. Okay.
So I badly injured my back, and I was teaching, and I was lying on the floor writing on a whiteboard, while I was writing on the floor teaching naturopaths and stuff, because I couldn't get up off the floor. And then when it came to pack up, I could pack up. I could get up. I levered myself up and I could pack up. And then I went back to a practitioner's house, and he treated me, and it still hadn't gone away. It hadn't gone away. It was just my back had gone. And I slept on a massage table that night because there wasn't a spare room in the house to sleep. And when I woke up in the morning, it was still there. And what happened was that, and I've had that before, when I was just saying to myself, there has to be an answer to this. What is that answer for me? Words just came to me.
Mm.
And I repeated those words. And immediately that I'd repeated those words, the pain went away. So that was my experience. But my experience had also come from a cathartic experience where my whole body had frozen one time.
Yeah.
And it was only finding the words that allowed me to free my body.
And those words were, what is the answer for me?
The answers were different for the different experiences, right? For one, it was set me free. I want to be free, set me free, right? Because I was being held in the grip of something where I totally was rigid, and the pressure on my chest, the pressure on my head. Yeah, right. All of that. And it was right down through my toes, through my hands, everything. I'm lying on the table and everything's frozen. And there was something there that I needed to be set free from. And once I said those words, I was able to release and let go. With the other experience was that I triggered myself off because I had previously been teaching with my partner and we had split up and I was on my own. And the words that I needed to say to myself in that instance were, I'm on my own and it's okay. And they were the words that came to me. And when those words came, it just released the back and released the pain. Because I was looking for solutions, I wasn't looking at the problem. So the goal is always to look at the solution. It's always to say, what is the solution here? What do I do? And, you know, the old thing that I've said before, what can I do and how can I do it? And as long as I am focused on that as my mantra, as on my way forward, I believe I will get a better result.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Right. Now, I don't know what your words are. We've worked on this before. I don't know what your words are. But I do know that you working on that principle will get you closer to what you want.
Okay. Okay.
Inga, you okay with that?
Yes, thank you.
And Esther, you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. So we're just going to sign off with another little self-reflection. And in this case, it is just, again, to go back to the body and do a little bit of self-talk with the body. And what I mean by that is, let's say you choose that part of your body, just choose a part of your body that you've had some trouble with or some issue with. And I'm just going to go a little bit longer. Is that all right with you, Esther? Only because
Yeah, that's fine.
it's a little bit late, right?
Yep.
And okay with you, Inga?
Yes, of course.
And David?
Yeah, it's fine. Thanks, Dan.
Okay. Because otherwise we'll be finishing about now, but we started late. So let's just do this a little bit longer. It might be that, Esther, if you're trying to lose weight, for instance, what's the area of your body that you continue to look at and think, oh, no?
It's not anything in general. It's just the whole body, because I used to be very fit. So it's now because I'm not doing an hour and a half incidental exercise.
Yeah.
It's just piled on. And I emotionally eat because of stress. So it's a winning combination of probably everything. So
Okay.
the whole body.
So I'm going to suggest you work on your adrenals.
Yep.
Okay. The adrenals produce adrenaline and cortisol. That is those are the hormones which tend to increase weight when they're because they're stress hormones.
Agree.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
And
but they
help
also those ones that keep us awake as well. So when we're not sleeping well, those are the hormones which tend to be higher. So it's normal for a young mother, to have stress hormones going all the time because it's like there's antenna up waiting for something to go wrong. So the goal is that you start to talk to your adrenals, which are little caps on top of the kidneys,
Yep.
to say, it's okay, I'm learning new skills now. I'm going to help you now. It'll be okay. You won't have to work so hard. You won't have to do this so much. We're going to learn to relax. I'm learning to relax now. It's going to be better now. It's going to be easier now. And just start to gain that sense that you are in charge of your body and that you have control of aspects of your body. Okay?
Yep.
Inga, for you, if there was a part of your body you would like to work on, what would it be?
My legs.
Okay. So for you, again, it's about saying you are learning new skills now. You are learning skills to help you develop your normal walk now. You are learning skills which can help those legs move more easily now. Does that make more sense? Does that make sense for you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So find the words that work for you. So I can say those things, but they may not be your things. What you want, though, is to speak with consideration of the part you are talking to and of consideration for what you want to learn in how to help that part work better. The body is a self-healing mechanism. The only reason it doesn't heal often is because we get in the way. So if I don't get in the way of my body, what could my body create and do? I don't know, because I've always got in one way or another in the way of my body. But I'm just the energy in that body. The body is being acted upon by all sorts of other forces which have come about through my thoughts and through my feelings and through other things that have happened. So now, how can I learn to talk to my body? How can I learn to calm this body? How can I learn to be at peace and ease in this body? And one way is to learn the dialogue that your body responds to. David, are you okay with that? Any thoughts coming to you about that?
No, that's fine, David. It's all consciousness based, isn't it, David? Everything that exists is because it's in a state of consciousness.
Yeah, and everything that exists is created in the spiritual world before it's created in the physical world.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
So the more that we can deal with things at that energy level, the energetic level, the more we can influence things in the physical level.
Mm.
And we
So
do that by being the creator of our life, not the victim of our life.
So where is our awareness?
Yeah, wherever we put our awareness.
That's simple, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so we're just going to do one short session and then we'll finish. Okay.
Thank you.
So again, when you're ready to, allow yourself to be in a relaxed state, the relaxed state you'd like to become, getting easier and easier for you. And each time you do this form of relaxation, it does get easier for you. So when you're ready to, with your eyes closed, just imagine those eyes closing over like thick, heavy curtains closing down. You just breathe more freely and breathe more easily. Just allowing that breath to come more freely and more easily. Just taking in a breath and letting it go. And then just taking in another breath and just letting that go too. As you just breathe more freely and breathe more easily. When you're ready to, when you're willing to, again, just thanking that body for being your body, and thanking that body for everything it does for you. Just allow yourself to focus on the area that your attention is drawn to. And just thank that area of your body for what it does for you. Just thank that body for that. And just share with that part of your body that you are learning new skills now. You are developing new understanding now. You are gaining new abilities now. As you just breathe more freely and breathe more easily. More and more freely and more easily now. As you just thank that part of your body for everything it does for you. Then just allow yourself to imagine light just flowing to that part of your body now. Healing, calming, light. Just flowing to that part of your body now. Just imagine that now. Just imagine that now. And know that you can go back to this state of being anytime you wish to, anytime you want to. It's always available to you. It's always available to you. As you just breathe more freely and breathe more easily. More and more freely and more easily. And shortly, just join me as we count up from 1 to 5, back to full waking consciousness. Just feeling more and more relaxed and more at ease within yourself. Just knowing it's easier and easier for you to relax each time you practice. And on 1 now, just allowing the circulation now to return through the hands and through the feet now. 2, moving up the arms and up the legs and into the trunk of the body now. 3, just take a deeper breath now as blood pressure, circulation, heartbeat and pulse all returns to that is normal and healthy for you now. 4, circulation returning all the way through you now, coming back all the way through you now. And 5, eyes opening in your own time, in your own way, just coming right back now, right back now. So is everybody okay?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Esther, how was that for you that time?
Yeah, good. I think obviously over the next week I'll do the practice of relaxation and hopefully get better and better and deeper. And I'll concentrate on the adrenal glands. yeah, and hopefully the sleep will get better.
Yeah, the more you can relax the adrenals, usually the better the sleep becomes.
Yeah, and last night I had a shocking sleep, so due to tiny human.
Yeah.
So it's probably why I'm a bit.
Yeah.
My mind's a bit grumpy today.
Okay. And Inga, for you?
Yes, very quickly I get into the relaxation, and of course the thoughts sometimes come, and then I don't connect to them. I send them straight on a cloud and let them pass by. So I really have that flowing of the nose and the breath. It's very good, very calming. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And David, for you?
I stay as the creator, David. Interestingly enough, it seems the more I do it, the quicker the physical movement. Sure what that's about.
Well, whatever you are creating is what's happening.
And manifesting as more rapid physical movement.
It is the creation of something within you that wants to create that.
Yes.
And it can also come from other areas as well. But we'll go and explore more of that as we go along. So thank you all for being here. I hope that this has been enjoyable for you and that there's something in here that actually works for you. And I look forward to working with you again next week. So
Thank you.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
David.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, sir.
bye.
Have a good week.